Okay, Don, so we're going to jump straight into the case study with 170% increase in sales in the last 12 months. Now, that sounds like a very big number and may sound unrealistic, but actually it is very true. So let's jump into some of the levers that we pulled in order for this to actually happen, for the growth. So we're going to start off with the current net profit that the company was having 12 months ago and now where it is now.
Okay, thank you, Jared. Yeah, so 12 months ago, this client was spending 110 cents in every sales dollar. So They were losing 10 cents in the dollar. That's after paying their overheads and the owner's salary, remuneration, benefits. So that's where they were 12 months ago. Today, their sales have grown by 170%, and they are now spending 87 cents out of every 100 cents of income or revenue, and they are making 13 cents in every sales dollar as net profit after all overhead and directors' benefits.
Yeah, which is an incredible turnaround. Absolutely incredible turnaround. I was going to say before is that sometimes what we find when we jump into the numbers is that some businesses pretty regularly, to be honest, don't pay their owners wages, and so those numbers can be a bit skewed as well. Obviously, that's not ideal going forward for your business to have a director or owner that doesn't pay themselves a wage. So then there's 4 kind of keys that we spoke about in terms of how we really turned the business, how the business actually turned around.
The first thing that we did was to conduct a strategy day, a strategy session with the owners and key members of their team or their leadership team, and looked at where their numbers were at. They were quite clearly losing 10 cents in every dollar, spending 110 cents in every dollar.
Yeah.
We then set a target net profit margin we were looking for. For us, that's never less than 10 cents in every dollar. That's spending 90 cents in every dollar maximum. So we set that as the target. And then we just simply went through the numbers, well, with the gross profit margins that they would need to operate at to grow the business dramatically, while we held the overheads to very limited growth. It became clear that they needed to double their sales. They needed to double their revenue. So that was agreed upon. It was a big ask, but it was agreed upon by everyone in the team.
Yeah.
We then put in place an action plan, a strategy and an action plan, which was that we needed to we need to enhance the sales team, and so we recruited a top BDM, business development manager / estimator, to add to the team to support the growth target.
Yeah. So we kind of went through the strategy day, unleashed a few items that we really needed to tackle in order for us to get to profitability, and not just 1 cent in the dollar profitability, but 10 cents in the dollar. So some of those, if we look at the 4 keys, they looked at limiting growth of overheads. Now, what would be some of the things that happen where that doesn't happen and actually the overheads grow as the sales grow? And how would you limit that?
Okay, well, yeah, some good questions, Jared. Some people, when they are focused on growth, it's grow everything, which means grow overheads, go to bigger premises, buy new equipment, vehicles, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Which is not the way to grow profitably. It's a matter of limiting the expenditure on overheads, property, plant, equipment to the absolute bare minimum, and growing the sales. and obviously managing the cost of sales and the gross profit margin.
Yeah. So there is going to be some increases sometimes, but it's about knowing when to buy the new plant and equipment and when not to, just to waste money and choke your cash flow as well, correct?
Yeah.
So then we looked at key number 2, which is in doubling the sales. Now, that's lovely to say, but obviously that's easier said than done in most cases. So what was really the big key there?
Okay, well, the first thing that was the big key was recruitment of an additional really good business development manager, and then very clear accountability. We conducted, and still do, conduct weekly sales meetings, sales KPI reporting, leads, quotes, contract by number and value every week by business development manager.
Yeah.
And we have the clear targets for each business development manager as well.
Yeah, so I think leaning on that one is that Ahmed is our head of management consultancy, and he still does catch up with the team literally almost every single day. He's on the phone with these guys, and a part of that process is around just building accountability and bringing like kind of a driving force behind the engine to keep moving in the way that it needs to with the owners and the stakeholders. Okay, so then we go to key number 3, which is to meet the market. Now, this is going to be a bit of a funny one, but yeah, explain meeting the market.
Okay, so to achieve 170% growth, the target was 100% growth, but actually achieved 170% growth, is that it's absolutely essential that to meet the market and not say, well, these are my costs and this is the price I need to get. And then, I'm only winning one tender in 10.
Yeah,
you've got to meet the market, and then you have to be very aggressive in managing your costs to achieve your target gross profit margin out of the operations, which may be substantially more than the price you have to go in at on the tender. So it's being able to take costs out once the tender's won, compared with the original quotes and estimates. And that obviously involves very, very strong on-site discipline, job costing, job management, processes and systems in place to give daily control of costs as projects progress.
Yeah, it's a lot of watching out for waste and that sort of stuff as well as everything else. Yeah. Okay, and then key number 4 looks at upgrading the job management system and on-site supervision.
Yes, well, labour cost is never going to be controlled unless there's strong on-site supervision. And we often see that the supervision is supervision levels are not sufficient to give that strong control on a daily basis on site, so the labour productivity blows out. That's the biggest area of overrunning costs. On the other hand, if it's well managed, you can come in under the original or the budget costs, labour.
Yeah.
And so, yes, upgrading of systems and processes is really, really important to match the growth and control and have daily control of the costs and margins. Yeah.
So I think one of the pieces of software that we would use normally, not across everywhere, but it's a good starting point, is something like a Smartsheet, where you can do project management, Gantt charts, and you can manage actual projects throughout the rollout of the job. But that's not going to be the one-stop shop. But in terms of making software work for you versus it just being a bunch of reporting, but then actually being able to manage it on site as well as in the office is really important for accountability and profitability.
One of the points I should make, so you mentioned Smartsheet, Jared, and we have used and do use that in conjunction with other software programs, but it can be developed, customized and developed to a very high level to give a very high level of control of costs on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. All right. Thank you very much, Don, for that. Appreciate it.
Right. Thanks, Jared.